Greetings YouTube, and welcome to my very first zero tolerance knife. I think you can see the zero tolerance right there. You'll see the ZT symbol in a second when I turn it over. Oh, actually, there's a ZT symbol right there on the blade, on the clip. I got a gift card from my company for 200 Amazon points in celebration of my 20th anniversary with my company. So I used that to purchase this knife. So an Amazon point is worth $1, and I could not search for through the entire Amazon site. It was a curated list. So on the curated list, this ran for $188. But I know if I poked around online on Amazon, I probably could have gotten for $160. And this is the 0450 model. I apologize, I don't have the box. I don't know where the heck it went. So we're going to go with $160. We're going to give them the benefit of the doubt that the curated list probably didn't get the best deals. For example, I paid $12 for another knife that isn't worth $12 just because I wanted to use up the points. That'll be coming up in a review as well. But it came out of the box, and so I'm looking at this, and I'm like, okay, this is like one of the most expensive knives I own. I think I only own one knife that's in like even close to that. I think that was $150, I think. So I'm like, all right, it's got titanium scales, got good quality steel, got ball bearings. So I'm going to say, okay, let's take a look at this from the outside first. It's dense. It's a heavy knife. It's not light. It's not a very big knife, but it's not light either, which is kind of surprising, seeing as that it is titanium, but these titanium slabs are on the thick side. These scales are not. They're not thin at all. We have a lanyard hole, 2-position pocket clip. Which is not deep carry. I thought that was interesting, but then I don't mind that. It makes getting it out of the pocket a little easier, because you can when you do this, you can grab those two screw heads and it comes out fairly smoothly. I got the logo etched on that side, and you have the ZT logo etched on this side, and you can get a full piece of paracord through there if you choose. Not my thing, but. The standoffs are colored, which is a nice touch, though they are, they're not all that exciting looking. They got a little notch in them, which I thought was weird, but it's a kind of artistic thing. But they're pretty. Okay, I'll give them that. They're pretty. I don't know what they're made of. I'm anodized aluminum, maybe anodized steel, but anodized aluminum would probably be the smartest thing to do. Maybe the cheapest thing to do. Yeah, I know they're supposed to be over the top and all that stuff, but, Okay, now, here's where we enter the not-so-great section. This is a very stiff deployment. So stiff that I find it painful to launch this knife. Now, I just opened this knife for the first time in, a week. And so maybe it won't go so rough as it did when I just opened it a few minutes ago. So we're going to try that. Okay, that wasn't too bad. So it's got a really nice profile. You have a flat grind, secondary bevel. Got some nice jimping right there. So if you want to do this, it's very nice. Or you want to choke up on that and push down like that. Very good. This is a very solid medium-duty knife. It's not very large. It's got some nice swedging. All the grinds are excellent. The grinds are really, really good on this. I will give them props for that. Came out of the box with a nice sharp edge. Not scary sharp, but a nice sharp edge. The handles, the overall handle shape and everything is very comfortable. I just barely get a full four-finger grip on this, but I have not overly large hands. For a person with larger hands, this is not going to be a full 4-finger grip. It's going to be a 3. And if you like a reverse style, you can do that as well. Okay, now it is very pretty, but I don't like the launch. It's very stiff, and I think that it's very stiff because see if I can figure out what was it I was looking at that was kind of mystifying me. Oh, I think it's because they got 2 ball bearings on this thing instead of just one. I mean, it's a frame lock, and oh yeah, by the way, it's got an draw protection, so you can't. I'm not joking. That's how hard it is to open that knife. So you can't overextend the frame lock, which is a nice touch. But it's got a ball bearing on, I think, both sides. Is it both sides on this one? I could have tried to figure out why the hell it was so tight. Well, maybe it is only one side. It's just too deep. Yeah, it's just too deep on this one. That's what it is. It's just that the detention relief cut they made for that ball bearing, it just goes in too far. It needs to be shallower. That's all it needs. It needs to be shallower. The other thing I don't like about this is the bearings. Now, I'm going to see if you can hear that. If you can hear that. There we go, right there. Did you hear that? These bearings, I can feel them and I can hear them in a way I have never felt bearings before on a knife. Now, I will freely admit, I do not have a lot of experience with zero tolerance knives. This is my only model, and I think I've only ever handled one other before this. I don't like the launch. It is painful to do this more than a couple of times in a short period of time. And I played with this as much as my finger would allow me to play with it, trying to wear it in, and it wouldn't wear in. The bearings sound cheap, and they feel cheap. And like I said, I don't have much experience with ZT knives. I got lots of experience with bearings. I have worked with machines for 36 years. I used to install bearings in milling machines as a job. And these bearings, to my mind, are not good quality. They just aren't. So I'm looking at this knife and all the features it's got, and it's beautiful, and it's got great materials, and it's got good steel, and I overlike the pattern, yada, 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 yada. I would like a little texture on the scales, I'll admit that, but that's a personal thing probably more than anything. Some people like smooth scales. But the launch is painful, and I don't like the bearings because I can hear them and I can feel them. And I shouldn't be able to hear and feel bearings like this on a $160 knife. Now, in my mind, is this a $160 knife? No, it's not. For me, this is an $80 to $90 knife. That is what the materials are worth and the design is worth, in my opinion. Now, you're going to say that ZT is a world-famous brand, and their standards are really high. It's why they're called zero tolerance. Yes, yes, yes. I get that. Diddly, diddly, dee. But I don't want to pay for a name. I don't want to tack on $80 to the cost of a knife because it says zero tolerance on it. Not when it's got this kind of bearings, these kind of bearings, and that kind of launch. The launch is bad, and the bearings are cheap, and I don't like them. Now, I'm going to keep it. It's a pretty knife, and it's my only ZT, and I'm probably never going to buy another one because I'm never going to have that kind of disposable income that I can just blow and not worry about it. So, yeah, I'm not impressed with this zero tolerance knife. I'm not. Like I said, in my book, this is an $80 to $90 knife. It is not worth the price they are asking. I don't care who designed it. You're making these on a mass scale. If you're doing the levels of machining that are available in the world today, this should not cost what they're asking. I understand machining. I know the industry. And I don't think this knife is worth what they're asking. So, this has been my first zero tolerance knife. Like I said, it's pretty, but I am disappointed by it. And I want to hear from other people. Do your versions of this knife, the 0450, have the same launching problem and the same bearing problem? I want people to tell me if they know anything about this. I know people are going to be upset with me, going to give me crap because I'm not, frothing over how wonderful this knife is. But in my book, it's simply not worth what they're asking.